The opening match of a World Cup carries a specific kind of gravity. In 2026, the pressure on the Mexican squad is absolute. They must win at home to avoid an immediate points deficit in the group stage. The scale of that expectation is magnified inside the Estadio Ciudad de Mexico. The altitude and the sheer volume of the crowd create a suffocating physical environment for any visiting team. Early on, the game settled into a tense gridlock. South Africa's defense held firm, leaning heavily on their experienced 34-year-old goalkeeper to absorb the initial waves of Mexican attacks with veteran calm. South Africa actively pushed the pace. They broke lines, moved the ball efficiently forward, and generated the game's first real chances, forcing the Mexican defense to scramble early. As the minutes ticked by without a breakthrough, the anxiety in the stadium started to build. If Mexico couldn't find a way through soon, they risked an opening day stalemate. They needed someone to find a gap in the South African line. Julian Kins found that gap. He slotted in the first goal of the tournament, an action that immediately forced South Africa to move their lines forward and play from behind. Born in Colombia, Kins had answered the call to represent his adopted country. Under maximum pressure, he delivered the opening strike Mexico required. The stadium erupted. The psychological momentum swung toward the hosts as tens of thousands of fans left the ground literally shaking. Desperate to equalize, South Africa immediately pushed their lines forward. They created a massive opportunity that clattered off the post, but committing that many players into the offensive third left their backline highly exposed. The urgency to score quickly led to a critical error. A late, risky challenge on Gutierrez prompted a referee review, resulting in a straight red card. This loss of discipline forced a transformation in the match's ecosystem. With the players sent off, South Africa was now required to cover the same distance with fewer bodies. This top-down map illustrates spatial overextension. When a team down a player mounts a heavy offensive, those 10 players physically cannot cover the same ground. This creates a massive, unguarded gap directly in their defensive third. Once Mexico regained possession, they didn't hesitate. 5 players instantly accelerated forward, sprinting toward that open space to overwhelm the fractured defense at high velocity. The Mexican attackers flooded the zone with overlapping runs, effortlessly bypassing the remaining defenders to perfectly set up Raúl Jiménez. That resulting second goal was a direct product of the numbers game. Mexico recognized the geometric flaw in South Africa's shape and executed a mathematically precise counterattack. Down 2 goals and missing a player, whatever tactical structure South Africa had left completely dissolved. Frustration dictated the final minutes. Another reckless challenge, this time catching Muriel on a counterattack, forced the referee to issue a second red card. South Africa finished the game with only 9 men on the pitch. For Raúl Jiménez, this specific strike carried historical weight that reached back through decades of Mexican football. With that strike, Jiménez tied Jared Borghetti for second place on the all-time goal-scoring list for the Mexican national team. For the host nation, the 3 points represent a massive first step toward qualification, providing a necessary cushion of safety for the remaining group matches. Mexico survived the opening pressure by maintaining clinical discipline exactly when their opponents surrendered to the chaos. Under the brightest lights in the sport, they waited for the mechanical error and exploited it.